Hey, we're back. Let's play that intro theme, shall we? Come on. We got this sorted now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hey, well, that's just brilliant, isn't it? Just you and me here this time, Stephen, I think. Nothing wrong with that. It's always about quality and not quantity. I think we had lots of views of the show, people getting ready for a for a Feelgood Friday. And I made a terrible error. Isn't it always the way where you can see what you did wrong afterwards, but in the heat of the moment, you can't see what the problem was. And it's quite a humid and moist morning. But I can tell you, I have been sweating a little bit this morning. Thank you, everybody, for finding us. I tell you what, it's not that just Lao Tzu who's come to an end. I nearly came to an end there. But funny thing is, on this Feel Good Friday, one of the questions I was going to ask you, and this actually contributed to the situation I found myself in this morning, is I stayed up till about 2 o'clock this morning talking to Mrs. M, and we were talking about sole purpose. Now, on the one hand, staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning and then getting up to do a live stream at 8:30 is probably not the best combination, is it? I'm not firing on all cylinders, as clearly was the case. It was user error. I put my hands up to that completely. But in the heat and humidity and stress of not being able to communicate with you, I'm so used to doing morning after morning for what, 2.5 years now. I really couldn't see what the problem was. And I really had to get a grip on myself. And that, my friends, is why I think sole purpose is really important in times of stress. Now, it's not rocket science. It's not a moon landing. It's not, full scale combat or anything incredible or potentially lethal as that. It's a live stream. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. But when you're in a stressful situation, you have two choices, don't you? You have the choice to go to your conditioned thinking and the dark side and the negativity and like, why does this always happen to me? And who did this? Who's responsible for this mess? Can I blame somebody? Yada yada yada, all that sort of stuff. Or you can recover or remember. You can remember your soul's purpose, your purpose in life. What am I meant to be doing here? And what is the best way for me to do that? And I can honestly say to you this morning, I was remembering what it is about what I'm trying to do in life. And that helped me calmly rebuild the show in a few minutes, which is what I had to do. I had to start again and rebuild the show. And I'm so sorry to all of you who were here chatting away this morning, and all of that got lost. And this is it's like a live stream mandala this morning. We carefully created all the little beautiful, colorful petals into a beautiful conversation. And I came along and I blew it all away like a like a gust of wind, testing your mindfulness and your state of enlightenment. Now, feel free. Let's have a little. Let's take the temperature of the room. Where are you at, each and every one of you, as a result of the disruption this morning? And if I may be so, I'm not trying. I didn't do this on purpose, by the way. I would much rather have done the show in a normal way. And by this time, and I've still got to send the links. I've sent the link to Gary, who's going to join us this morning from Betsy, the camper van. I'll send it to Frank for what it's worth, because he probably won't join us anyway. And of course, special guest this morning. We have Cátia Lima from Beyond Lisbon joining us this morning. And so she's a really special guest who I've been wanting to speak to for a very long time on the show. And it's happening this morning. So can you imagine my distress thinking this is a show I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I can't find the flipping banner for it, but I'm not going to let any of these things get to me. I mean, things do get to you, don't they? But if without sounding too pretentious, and I know I'm not going to manage, and I know people are going to be going, oh, blimey, here he goes again. But without wanting to sound too pretentious, if you're on mission and on purpose, and this morning I wanted to get a picture of a porpoise so I could illustrate the point this morning with a porpoise. If anyone's got a nice picture of a porpoise, please send it in. But if you're on mission and on porpoise, you can come back, can't you, to that, rather than lose it in a red mist of blame, self-judgment, other people judgment, even better usually, isn't it? We can, here we are back today. I think this morning is living proof of what can happen if in the fog of stress, you can think, okay, hold on a minute. What am I about here? What is really important here? I know what's important. And I know what's important to me, and I might even tell you if you coax it out of me this morning, like a little sea creature that's firm at the moment, firmly clasped upon a rock. But let's talk about that. What is your sole purpose? What is your purpose and mission in life? I think this is really important, and I'll say this within the context of what's going on in the world at the moment. I think it's really important that people stick or understand and know their own personal mission, and have that as a guiding principle in life at the moment, because we are under the possible influence of many forces and calls on our attention. And I think it's more than ever, and you can only really do it now anyway, by the way, as Lao Tzu might say. You can only do it now and be on purpose, on mission. And I think a lot of people are like that in this community. Do tell me, please, what your sole purpose is. That's what I was up till 2 this morning talking about with Mrs. M. 5 hours sleep, doing a live stream, and doing it, as I say, I put my hands up to it, doing it extremely badly and messing you all around this morning. So I'm so sorry for that. But here we are. And should we just start again as if nothing ever happened? Let's clear the air, shall we? Yes, I do. And you're a fine one to talk, Rafael de Furia, not your average globetrotter. My goodness, he has a voice as well. He's Rafael de Furia, and he is not your average globetrotter. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you why Portugal is probably just a little bit better than Italy. I can do other YouTuber impersonations, everybody. How was that for you, Rafael? Maybe I've lost him now. Yes, second time lucky, and cross his fingers. We're in, Rafael. I think you know what it's like, don't you, to have those sort of technical stresses while you're just trying to go about your business and do your job. Bon dia, second time around. Owen, how are you? Thank you for being here today. Deep thought of the day, then. Let your workings remain a mystery. So maybe I don't need to reveal my sole purpose and mission in life. Just show people the results. Well, that is so. I use the word prescient a lot, hoping that I'm using it in the right context. That is so appropriate. Let me go with the word appropriate. I know what that means, and I know what inappropriate means as well, which sometimes happens on the show. And on Feelgood Friday, it could well happen this morning. Just show the people the results. This, my friends, is the result of me wanting to be with you this morning. And that among many other, among a few other guiding principles, is what has us here together. It's kind of slightly heartbreaking to be stuck like Marcel Marceau, not being able to speak, going. So it was fantastic. Yes, I do have a voice. Fantastic. Lao Tzu week has finally come to an end then. Lao Tzu, Lutzu, tomato, Porto. Bon dia, todos from Raj as well. And hello, que pasos? Okay, Victoria, we're here now. I can say hello back to you, which I wasn't able to do a little while ago. Portuguese saying of the day, then. Let's work through these. We will save the dad jokes for a little bit later on, because I think Garvo might. Yeah, he's on tour. Is this a joke? Yeah, he's messing me up. Don't do that. Are you pushing me to the very limits of my theory this morning that how to cope under stress? And I think you've interrupted a stream of dad jokes there. I suspect that is seen as quite a serious crime. But I think you can hear me, and you're just winding me up. Stephen yells. Yeah, Stephen yells. Very appropriate again. Stephen Wells. And I think he probably can yell from time to time. A bit of life coaching consultancy there when needed. He'll probably give you a bit of tough love. Okay. I found you here. Yes, we've got 2 shows this morning, and we are back on YouTube as well. And I do need to let Cátia Lima, who's joining us, Beyond Lisbon blogger Cátia Lima, who I've just called Cátia Lima. I really do. I mean, basically, note to self, I do need more than 5 hours sleep. But it was so important last night to stay up with Mrs. M and talk about life purpose, a soul purpose. After I do a great coaching session myself yesterday. He had me in tears again. He did talk about tough love. But yeah, up late last night talking about soul purpose. I am keen to know what yours is. I think it's really important, as I've said, at this time in human history. Yes, great to have you, James Holly. Well, I think I get the last laugh here as well. Look, he's actually James Holly, not James the Cyber Slug Holly. I am messing with Carl's mind, and that's his whole name that he's putting on YouTube. I'm going to do a screenshot of that. That is how I like it, James Holly. Your actual name, and what's wrong with that? Because I think Nom de Plume was in trying to find out who was behind all of these other nom de plumes on the screen this morning. Okay, dad jokes, we'll come back to those. Thank you, Owen, for being here. I hope you're feeling better. Don't worry, it's not Friday the 13th, is it? Okay, I think that's a dad joke, which we need to come back. Oh, bonus Friday jokes. Excellent stuff. Okay, I'll come back to those later. Andy, no biggie, mate. Nice to have you back in the room. There you go. There you go. Calma, tranquilo. He's being Portuguese about it. How do you make Carl laugh on a Friday? Tell him a joke on Wednesday. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Image, uma vez, ahem. Oh, yes, very good. Image, uma vez, another go. Ahem. Bom dia, gamperos. Great to have you here, Raphael. Me and Mrs. M want to speak to you. Okay, I've lost you again. I think that's your end this time, James Holly. How nice to be able to just say that, James Holly, but can't get it on YouTube. You might have to restart. I think others are hearing it on YouTube, so I think it's okay. Friday the 23rd is Friday the 13th plus 10. Ah, this is better, says Victoria. Ah, the fog of stress sounds like London. Yeah, I grew up there. That is not too bad. Oh, he likes my impersonation. I'm so glad. If you've got any requests for other YouTubers, I want to do that Beneath the Surface guy. Does anyone watch the Beneath the Surface guy? I mean, I can do a really quick impersonation of him. That's oh, bless him. He really goes through it and shares it all on YouTube, doesn't he? On Beneath the Surface. I thought this. No, I'm not reading. I'm not reading that, Pete. You nearly got me. Ha ha. Not a bad impersonation there of Raphael. Everyone, morning to you, Portuguese Lord Gilchrist. Yes, very funny, Pete. There seems to be a problem. You appear to have sound. Very good. And to the main from Victoria Benson. Where were we this morning? Where were we? We're getting back on track. That's where we are. How do I get back to YouTube link? Can someone else? Oh, no, you're not allowed to post links, are you? I wonder what I can do there. James, I think you're in danger here of pushing me into another technical breakdown. If I start playing the live show, do you know what? I like I said yesterday, I I think I am that person who sees the red button with do not push on it and is very tempted. So I think I can give you a link here. But okay, yeah. I'm thinking, well, if you're here, you don't need the link, but I think you want to get away from Facebook there. And I bet you want me to send it to you personally on YouTube, on WhatsApp as well, don't you? So, do you know, I've done that for you as well. I do need to get a very important thing. I need to get, and I'll tell you about her while I'm doing this. I did have the tab open for the Beyond Lisbon blog, which is what Cátia Lima writes. Okay, and she's been doing so for some time. All the time I've been doing the live streaming, I've been aware of Cátia Lima in the background, who I think deserves a far bigger audience than the one she has. I think she deserves world acclaim for the job she's doing of sharing life, Portuguese culture. Because Portugal is more than just its capital city. So it's a delight to be talking to her today, and I must actually send her the link because otherwise her debut on the show after probably 2 years or more of asking her to join me and it not happening for one reason or another, we have that moment, and then she turns up on an old link that I've sent her. So I'm doing that right now, and I'm gonna do this in capital letters. New link, Cátia. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I do this, and maybe I could prank Frank. I could do a Frank prank this morning, and he can have the old link and turn up on that. And I can just say to him, well, I didn't think you were going to turn up. So maybe Man Frank might also join us. If you missed what I was saying earlier on, we've got Cátia Lima joining us at around 9:30. We have Garvo joining us quite soon from a car park. No, it's not what you think. From a car park somewhere in Portugal on his motorhome meandering. That's what I would call this feature, motorhome meanderings. And maybe Frank will drop in as well if he feels like it. What a pro, honestly. Morning, Victoria, from Pete then. And morning, Raf. Pete's working in the room as well. Sarah, thank you very much for your correspondence. I think that Gumper map on Google is coming together very nicely. I was able to drop a pin on there. Now, this is the idea Sarah's been talking about, to create a community map for us and put all our favorite things on there and our recommendations. So when you land somewhere else in Portugal, the local Gumpers, the local Expats Portugal people, will have dropped a few pins, as it were, on a map to show you some great places to go. I think it's a great idea, and it seems to work, Sarah. So thank you for your sterling work on that. I've already put down the pin of my favorite place in San Martin de Porto, the Palmeira Cafe. So I think you'll see that, Sarah, and you'll see that what you're asking me to do has been successfully accomplished, and we might roll it out in beta. Bon dia. This is my what? Oh, this is my last GMP before being herded to the US. You make it sound such fun. It will be 57 sleeps before I get back to Stubble. Maybe I'll track with notches on my laptop. You don't sound entirely happy about that. Sounds like you're in the condition that a lot of people are in. Like, I really like Portugal. Well, it is nice to see the family and everything back home, but actually, don't want to go. You and the missus, should I be concerned? You've got my number. What does that mean? What, staying up until 2 o'clock talking about life purpose? It is agony and ecstasy, I've got to tell you, but I can't think of anything better to do than to attempt to discover and keep. I think it's an ongoing process as well. I don't think many people hit upon their, well, I think there are notable exceptions possibly, but this whole thing about life purpose, soul purpose, I think it's really important work. It's basically, why do you feel you were put here, or why, not just why you feel it, but why were you, and you know it when you hear it, yourself saying it out loud, and other people know it as well when you say it out loud. That to me is the test of it. When you're on purpose, when you have discovered and are living your life's purpose, your soul's mission. And forgive me with the language I'm using, because it will be a different language for every different kind of person. But I think you know what I'm pointing at. Not myself. I'm pointing at your soul purpose, your mission in life. And we know when we're on mission, and we know when we're not, more to the point. So in many ways, yes, you should be concerned, but not in a bad way, Raphael. Okay, then. Okay, back. Oh, there we go. Techno Slug. I loves me some boots and pants and boots and pants. And if James searches for Expats Portugal on YouTube, he should find the stream. Yes, check your stream this morning. Always good to do the stream self-examination, isn't it? Every now and then, so you know where to find the show. What did you think I was talking about? And quotes that have inspired the slug, the Cue This feature. There are only two energies at the core of this human experience: love and fear. There you go. It's Feelgood Friday, and we're talking about special things, important things: life purpose, soul mission, and the two energies at the core of human experience. Love grants freedom, fear takes it away. And I think when you're on purpose, it's all about the love, isn't it? And you can be powered through life when you're ablaze with passion and feeling for your mission. However, if you're coming from your fear, and fear takes it away. Oh, hold on a minute. I'm really messing up Neil Donald Walsh's quote here on it. Let me start that again before I start going on again. There are only two energies at the core of this human experience: love and fear. Love grants freedom, fear takes it away. Love invites full expression, fear punishes it. Love invites you always to break the bonds of ignorance. Oh my goodness. Yes, thank you very much for that. Yeah, and the other way of, or another aspect of that, is that all human behavior is either an expression of love or a call for a call for help, which is basically coming from fear. So I think Neil Donald Walsh and James, you've nailed it this morning with that, with a little bit of help from Lao Tzu as well. Thank you to you, T Duck, for that. I love Lisbon. It's the best city in Portugal. Look, he's causing trouble, isn't he? It's not that Lisbon isn't a great city and to some the best city, but when you're a foreigner looking in on Portugal, it's very easy to be drawn towards information about the capital. That's changed, certainly, and I think that's in some part due to Cátia Lima and her Beyond Lisbon WordPress blog, which I urge. Actually, let me put that into into the chat now, because oh dear, what's that? Not another not a physiological technical difficulty, I hope. No, I think we're okay. Beyond Lisbon .wordpress.com is where you'll find the latest installment. Actually, I'll put the whole link in. What we'll do is when we say hello to Cátia this morning, we'll have a look at Portuguese Cafes, The Secret Handbook, Part 4, no less. I think I'm going to have a sip of water or suck on a doctor in a minute, which isn't going to be easy whilst I'm trying to do the show here. First of all, I'll try a cough. Hold on. Ah, better. Okay, and how's Lisbon? Bom dia from the bus to Lisboa. Okay, we gave you, I think between us, we gave you quite a lot of nice tips yesterday. How's it going? Did you do any of them at all? Did you take any of the advice? And how's it going there? We're not going to be getting it. Actually, maybe we could ask Cátia Lima. All right, you do write the Beyond Lisbon blog, but what is your favorite place to go to in Lisbon when you are there? Should we try that later on? Okay, fresh and unexpected. Okay, what's this? Has he had a manure delivery? You never know what livestock you may have delivered by self eco-friendly. Okay, and maybe he's harvested, as it were, and I use the term loosely, tonight's dinner on his land there. Garvo and Linda from a lay-by near you. No, Peter, I have a large animal on my lap. Love weighs 60 kilograms. Okay, we'll keep them guessing, shall we, for a little while, for those people who don't know the intimate workings of your lifestyle there. She's at work. I was talking about the puppy. Okay. There's definitely a man cave influence tonight. Man cave, is that right? Well, I'm sure there will be a man cave this evening. It's Friday. It is synonymous now, isn't it? Across the world, Friday night must be man cave night. What's this? This one is characteristically you, but I think it deserves a reading, Pete. As usual with Carl in the morning, and at his advanced years, some of the streams are faster than others. He lasted nearly 6 minutes in one of them. A little dribble, and now this. Very good. I'm blessed, says James, and grateful to be living my soul's purpose, to be of service to others by supporting them in creating the most fulfilling life of their dreams. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about this morning. I think meanwhile, over at the Man Cave, what is the mission of the Man Cave? That old social media hellhole of a Friday night. So has everyone been fired? What does this mean? Portuglish talking about the Man Cave, 12 places now. So has there been a sort of boardroom reshuffle and you fired everyone and now there are 12 empty spaces? Or is that how it works every Friday night? You assume it resets and everyone comes afresh to talk about new things. But for the last time I watched, I didn't get that impression. Mission of what is the mission of the Man Cave? To be men. Okay. Now the thing about a mission is upgraded to the. Oh, I see. Okay. There are more spaces in the on screen now. Okay. If it wasn't hard enough already to hear, I don't know how many it is, 8 men speaking all at the same time. Now you can hear 20 men trying to speak at the same time whilst drinking beer for 3 hours. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? And if you've ever wondered what was the mission of the Man Cave, which is the question I've asked this morning, it is to be men. Well, that I think can be fairly easily achieved within the first few seconds of arriving. I'm looking for something a little bit more transformational than that. Not that I suggest you transform yourselves from men into something else. Transformational from the point of view of, what else, Raphael, other than turning up and being men? Oh, okay. The mission is open and frank discussion. Okay. For what purpose, gentlemen? Okay, we're easing and teasing it out of them slowly this morning. Yes, Pete. Awesome week here, and still more friends and fun to come. How's things in Orca? And I thought we were talking about the orcas that have been nudging boats gently, I think. Are they orcas? But certainly whales on the coast of Portugal. One or two of them have been taking an interest in boats. I think they tipped one over, didn't they, recently? Okay, keeping dialogue alive then. This is the Man Cave. A little bit of a plug for the Man Cave this morning. And through speech as well. We demand free speech and we demand to spell it however we damn well please. I think oh yeah, okay. It was actually free speech and not through speech, which is a Chaucerian version, I think, of public outbursts. Through speech, as Chaucer was promoting back in his time. Okay, yeah, actually free speech is what you can look forward to tonight with extra added men drinking beer from, I think, about 10 o'clock this evening. Well done, guys. Keep up the good work over there and beer talk as well. Fantastic. Okay, we are waiting for Garvo to join us. I think what did he say? He is trying to find a stable signal. And can you send the link again, please? Done. Check. Over on Facebook, we've sent the... Oh, okay. I think she's seen that over there on Facebook Messenger. Cátia's got that, which is fantastic. And you know what? What I feel I should do as well is share her, and we'll get her to furnish, and add maybe like, it's like be like a DVD with the director's commentary. We'll get her to talk through her own blog, but I'll show you that in just a minute. But I think it's very important to spell her name correctly in the ticker tape. How's everyone doing with their Portuguese keyboards and accents, or not, as the case may be? For me, that is an ongoing struggle. I tell you what is a great thing, an ongoing struggle, is to change the batteries in your mouse. I did that last night before the Expats Portugal Calling webinar last night. We had Dr. Michael Averbuk in Accra in Africa, where he said to me, he phoned me yesterday to talk about what we were going to talk about on the webinar. He said, I'm in Accra, Carl. Do you know where that is? Yes, I do know where that is, actually. Do you know where Accra is? A little bit of a general knowledge quizzer there this morning. Yeah, Michael Averbuk, Dr. Michael Averbuk from Serenity, was in Accra talking to us last night with a couple of his colleagues. Sophia, they were in Portugal, Sophia and Rafaela. And we had a great session last night talking about some of the things that can happen in Portugal with the medical system. And I discovered a few things. I've had quite a few conversations with Michael and Serenity, and I thought I knew a thing or two. And they continue to surprise us with some of the idiosyncrasies and hacks that they can help you with as case managers and concierge. Okay, well, I know what I was going to do next. I was going to put I was going to change the ticker tape. Well, where did it go as well? I thought I had the ticker tape running already. Okay. Where is it now? Where's it gone? I'm looking for my Feelgood Friday. That's what it is. It's Feelgood Friday. We've got Cátia Lima joining us at 9:30. We may have Gary. Garvo's gone missing in action now, as well as the Frank, who may or not be joining us a little bit later on in the show. He has Airbnb turnovers. So if you're thinking of running an Airbnb, actually, we could get some useful information out of Frank this morning, as well as the other sort of stuff, material that he comes up with. If you're thinking of opening an Airbnb or an AL, a Alojamento Local here in Portugal, you can talk to him about it, which could be quite useful to you. It might put you off. It might inspire you to go further. Okay, where are we? Okay, this is it. This is the one. And I'm just about to change Cátia's name to make sure she has a proper accent on the A in her name there. That is done, folks, and that can go on the screen right now. Feelgood Friday, Beyond Lisbon blogger Cátia Lima. Let's bring her blog onto the screen now so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And it is her Beyond Lisbon. There it is. There she is. She'll be joining us later on. And her current blog is Portuguese Cafes, The Secret Handbook. Am I just talking about it and not showing you? Yes, classic. Okay, Portuguese Cafes, The Secret Handbook, Part 4. Let's read a little bit through this for the fourth and final part of this series dedicated to Portuguese cafes. I think we're going to have to backtrack over the first three parts, aren't we? I'm bringing you a fine selection of pastries. Yes, a selection, because there's no way all Portuguese pastries could be mentioned in a single blog post. Well said. And if that's one thing that can be said about Portuguese cafe pastries, is that we love our egg cream and we love it a lot. I'm not sure why Portuguese pastries don't use things like fruit jam or chocolate more often, but I have my suspicions. The egg cream we often use is reminiscent of the egg cream you'll often find in the so-called conventual suites, when the monks and nuns were experimenting with confectionery, I should add, and which is delicious and decadent. And of course, as I understand it, there are so many egg yolks in Portuguese pastry recipes. It's because they had to do something with the when they were starching their outfits, their clothes with egg whites. There were lots of yolks left over, and they figured out, waste not, want not, of course. And they used those yolks as the basis for pastry recipes. There you go. A little bit of background before we welcome Cátia Lima in person after all this time onto the Expats Portugal screen. How fantastic is that? We thought we'd lost you, Nom de Plume. You're back. That's great to see as well. And we've got Owen here this morning. Where did we get to? Keeping a dialogue alive. I think I'm helping. I think I've given Portuglish and his man cavers a little bit of coaching this morning in coaching and coaxing out their mission on the man cave. And it's also, look at this, it's a real outpouring now. Forging bonds of friendship too. Certainly saw that from the pictures last week of the ring. Okay, don't quite know what that means, and dread to think, quite frankly. James, Carl, you asked about our experience of the great crash of GMP. To be honest, I experienced a subtle but clear sense of panic. Very interesting. And then a mutually subtle but clear sense of relief finding it here. Wow, an emotional roller coaster ride. Thank you for your openness and honesty this morning about that. Only 5 likes. Yeah, you're making me work hard for it this morning, folks. Only 5 likes. Gumpers, come on, hit that thumbs up. Oh, and before I forget, bon dia, Carl from Antonio F. Where's the great Garvo? Oh, trying to come on. Ha, Frankie's. Well, okay. You just never know quite what's going to happen, do you? Frank, as I suggested with my Frank prank, he is trying to get onto the old link I sent him. I didn't send him the new link because, quite honestly, I didn't think he was going to bother joining us this morning. And so I better send him the actual link now, and we can welcome him onto the screen as if nothing ever happened. Okay. Just keep this between me and you, okay? That I wasn't trying to wind Frank up by giving him or not giving him the new link this morning. Okay, Nom de Plume, what were you saying before you were so rudely wiped from the screens of the internet with this, our take 2 this morning? Because I think there was some interesting stuff going on with Nom de Plume, who's found us again, as has Baddy. Bon dia alegria. I'm happy you started again. So am I. Absolutely. I'm delighted to be back here again after he's not even here yet, and Portuglish is giving him a man cave, Frank. Yeah, it's been quite a morning so far. Freezes yesterday and no sound this morning, and probably behind all of it, user error, quite frankly. Carl, that's so sweet of you, Andrew. But I think we got Frank coming on in just a moment as well. And I think I've got a few photos to share as well. What? From Nom de Plume this morning. Oh, fun night last night at Praia de Rocha with lovely girlfriends. Okay, we got a little bit of a video. You can hear the sound of it. And then in the blurry first view that WhatsApp gives you, I think I'm looking at shrimps, but I might be wrong. No, I am looking at shrimps. Okay, that is going to be downloaded and played for you now. Thank you very much, Victoria, for that. That's coming onto your screen in just a moment. And I think I had a few other things laid by because it was such a busy day on the picture deck yesterday that I don't think I managed to show everything. I showed you these lovely puppies, and who doesn't like to see some lovely puppies on the screen? These 3 are looking for homes, and it was Rugby Colin, who sent us those in. That's over on the Silver Coast. If you're looking to adopt, I think these guys, little fellas, are probably at Crapper, and it's always fun to say Crapper, the dog rescue centre. Not fun sometimes being them though. They've got a lot of dogs to find homes for. 3 of the little pups, as you could see there, that need homes. Here, coming up onto your screens in just a moment, then is you've reached your limit. Hate it when that happens, and it's as if every possible technical challenge that could happen is happening this morning, but we're on a mission here, so we're not going to let that daunt us. And we're going to give it another go and see if we can load up Victoria's video clip, which she sent us this morning, which we are doing, and it's processing now. And here it is, folks.
Olá, Camarão. Tudo bem? Não, Camarão. Camarão. Sim. Tudo bem? Camarão. A João. A João, sim. Who is João?
I like the sound of that. I'm going to play that again because that was a language lesson, and you see how Victoria rhymes camarão with a João.
Olá, camarão. Tudo bem?
Camarão.
Não, camarão.
Camarão.
Sim.
Camarão.
Tudo bem?
Camarão.
Camarão.
A João.
A João, sim. Who's João?
I think we could. You remember that song, Chacarão? Chacarão. We could re-record that. I think we should do this. We should re-record. And I think we've spoken about these sort of things before, setting new lyrics to old tunes, and we can re-record Chacarão with Camarão. I think. Yes, I do have a stage name, a carefully crafted stage name for such purposes, and we'll take it on tour around the Algarve. Mr. Tostamista is my stage name, and I think is this already a song? Now Camarão João. Is that a traditional Portuguese favorite already? I wonder. Maybe Andy is ahead of us there. And Camarão there. People are enjoying that. Thank you very much for that, Victoria. Lovely puppies. Thank you, Antonio F. And question for Frank. Are you ready for a Harl? Oh, okay. The Man United, Man City banter has begun, and he's not even here yet. But he is now. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Boop. He's here. Can we give him a nice big hand on his opening, please? It's Frank from the Algarve.
How you doing, Carlito?
Oh my goodness, what's happening here? I've got to calling you maybe man, Frank.
Why would you do that?
Because sometimes you join us, sometimes you don't. Sometimes.
Oh no, you call me and I don't show up. That does not happen, man.
Okay, let's put the past in the past. I've had a big lesson in putting the past in the past.
Oh yes, you better this time around.
This is the second version of the show this morning. How are you?
I am doing very well. How about yourself?
Yes, very interesting to be in quite a stressful situation and to call upon my life's mission in the midst of it. I felt like I was in a heroic battle with the forces of technology, and I had to keep my highest ideals front and center of my mind to pull myself through and not to break down into a blubbering wreck, frankly.
No, you've never been even close to a blubbering wreck, so I don't think it's going to start anytime soon.
Thank you, Frank. Talking of blubbering wrecks, sometimes I was saying to people earlier on, you run an Airbnb in Portugal, and if anybody wants to ask you questions about that, you're happy to answer them. Sometimes,
absolutely.
That can be a bit stressful, can't it, that business?
Yeah, it's not just the stress of doing the business, but as you know, when you're people facing, you not only find a lot of things about yourself, you find a lot of things about people. And you realize that we, regardless of where we live on this planet, we have somehow we have the same issues, especially in first world countries.
Now, reading between the lines there, I think you sometimes want to say to people visiting the Algarve, please stop being so entitled and spoiled.
I'll tell you in my language. Sod off, will you?
So, are we talking about possibly the new Basil Fawlty of the Algarve? Like bring it out of the 70s.
How did I know you were going to go towards Fawlty Towers? I was ready with this too.
Frankie Towers would be amazing to have you. I don't know how we would produce this, what the treatment is, but to have you like becoming utterly and volcanically frustrated by people's first world and horribly entitled problems to the point at which you do a similar thing to going outside and smashing a mini with a tree branch or something like that, or the Portuguese equivalent of that. Can you give us any kind of example without putting people off coming and staying with you?
Yeah, no. How did I know you were going to do this? Yeah, no, it's first world issues to the extent where how come the shower, the water flow in the shower is not the same as I was used to in my country, and how come the pizza guy right next door, when he takes a pizza order, How come he likes taking the drinks first, and how come he didn't come and ask me about the pizza because I was ready? And I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe we should go and ask the pizza guy, and maybe we should go beat him up because you kind of sound like you're really, really frustrated with the pizza guy. So it's very first world issues without us realizing how we sound at times. I had a question. How come the Burger King over here does not taste the same as when I eat in my country? And I'm like,
Really?
I don't know. I haven't tried a Burger King, but I'm happy to do that with you, and maybe we can make some comments about Burger King and get. Yeah, it's a very interesting. It's very interesting because people sometimes. Some at times are even picky about like if you are to provide whatever kind of towels that are available, or whatever, they're clean and everything is beautiful, the person will be like, and I go, oh, you expected Egyptian cotton.
Here's one. Here's one answer: because you're not in your other country. That's why it doesn't taste like it. This is. You said we didn't know we would. I didn't know we would be going here, but this is fascinating, and I honestly hope somebody from Amazon Prime, Netflix, or the BBC World Productions are watching, because I would watch this. This could be amazing. We have been told, haven't we, in the last few decades, of the service age, if you like. Customer is king. Customer is always right. Bend over backwards. I think that this has come to some sort of limit now, possibly, and you are the man standing on that boundary.
You just have to be fair. I don't believe in this customer is king or bend over backwards bit. I'm kind of more about this is a fair exchange. I'm providing a service. You are staying with me. I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to be the best at it. It's just that you have to be the best at what you are, which is a beautiful, very polite person who's just going to come and stay as a guest at somebody's place and not wreck the place, which actually also happened this season, by the way.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to say more? I mean, we were providing
four 19, 20-year-olds from the Midlands showed up, and they were four. This is the biggest surprise. This is the other thing I learned about humanity. We always call, and this is something that remember we've always had a conversation about, is that we should not be trashing men, because men in this day and age actually are more responsible, and they do a lot of great things. Yes. These were four girls who came, and the way they trashed the place, as a matter of fact, it was just unbelievable. It was as if there was a full-on orgy in there. Let's just say that.
Oh my God. Okay. I really wasn't expecting. This has been a morning of unexpected, I don't was going to say not necessarily pleasures or treats, but happenings and issues.
You stop lying. This is exactly why you get me on, because you're going to get this kind of stuff, and you're going to be like, oh God, I'm going to get this idiot on.
I know we're going to get this kind of stuff, but I didn't quite know it was going to be Frankie Towels this morning. That's it, Frankie Towels. The new version of Fawlty Towers, running an Airbnb in the age of entitlement. I mean, this idea has got legs. With you speaking frankly, there's no other way, of course, for you to speak other than frankly about the ups and downs and trials and tribulations of being an Airbnb owner. Host is the word, isn't it?
Host is the word.
Host is the word that's used in your particular industry. And of course, you've been in hospitality. This has been your life. You do love to serve and impress and delight people, don't you? But I'm sensing there is a new. We're going into new territory here, aren't we, with what people's expectations are and how customers might just back down a little bit.
Well, there is a new breed of customer, and as a result, there needs to be a new technique towards customer service, which needs to be straight up. If there is some kind of an issue with the service that you're providing, with the place that they're staying, they're uncomfortable, if the basics are wrong, then you go. And then there's obviously over and above stuff where the person says, oh, you know what? The toilet paper. I'm not, my tushy hurts. I'll get you. Can you get me another toilet paper that's a bit smoother? I want 4-ply. So you'll go ahead and you'll do over and above, and you'll go and get the 4-ply. It's not a problem. You'll do everything to make your guest extremely comfortable.
Or use the B-Day, right? You're in Portugal. Use the B-Day. We'll talk to Cátia about this. But use the flipping B-Day. You're in Portugal. Okay. Yeah. So this is a theme then. If you don't like the difference or change, then don't move country. That's a bit harsh and direct, isn't it? Or do you have that in a laminated sign now up in the Airbnb?
It's not a laminated sign. It's just my face. As soon as they
can just tell. Yeah.
I'll just be like, "Are you for real?" Like there are wars going on. There are people dying. There's all kinds of nonsense happening, and you've got a problem with the bloody coffee here.
Okay. Wow. Frank, have you ever lost all the towels in the Airbnb asking for a friend?
A few. That's why you always keep spare ones, and that's why you always make sure that there is. Oh yeah, Towelgate. That's everything has happened. When you get like especially in Algarve, when you get in a 5-month span, you get every bit of humanity in, and mostly you kind of based on the trend, based on the people that you get in, you're kind of like, oh, okay, so this is how the Northern Europeans are. This is how you get like kind of a calibration of like, okay, this is how the Northern Europeans are. This is how the Southern Europeans are, and it kind of tells you about the life we live in these countries. I'll tell you before you even ask me, I love the Southern Europeans, by the way.
Clearly, I know that, and it's funny because when you said from the Midlands, that could have been the Midlands of any country, but my mind immediately went to the Midlands of the UK. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you went right.
Bom dia de Australia. Como está todos from Drew? Morning, Drew. The girls who trashed your place, can you let us know when they rebook? I think it was the mention of orgy that had.
Yes. Okay, Stephen, right. I will make sure that I let you know. I'll make sure to even get you an invite.
And it's now the most expensive week of the year, isn't it, in Portimao there?
Absolutely.
You'd say they drive with their behavior. They drive.
Yeah, but isn't it? Don't you think it's also like very, very expensive week to do porn shoots?
I think I heard of. Is it so? Has this been a matter of public record? Then were you in the papers about this? The Midlands.
Why would I go to the papers about it?
I don't know because
it's just probably 4 chicks having a great time. They're shagging. They're doing whatever they are.
Okay,
it's just that in the process. I'm saying do as you will. It's your place. Be a guest. Have a wonderful time. Just don't destroy the place. Where there's like the countertop is wood. It's basically burnt. Destroyed the account, like did all like you know what I mean.
Okay, all right. So is Frank married? I don't know if this is some sort of proposal here from Nom de Plume because a woman. Oh, okay. I think this is a different proprietor. We are holding up the arrival of Cátia Lima. Everybody, we need to give another round of applause, please, and welcome onto the screen. Oh, Cátia, it's so good to talk to you here on the Expats Portugal Show. Good morning to you. Tudo bem?
Good morning. Tudo bem? Bom dia.
Oh, it's
Bom dia.
Yeah?
So, yeah, we can hear you fine. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Finally, yeah.
Yes. Well, I was saying that to everybody. I think you and I have known each other at least a couple of years now, and I'm a massive fan of your work, your Beyond Lisbon blog. And not only that, but your memery. We like a few memes here in the morning. And you provide this service, don't you, on social media?
Yeah.
Serve up fresh memes every day. Why do you do that?
Good question. I think it's just a matter of, spreading joy and making people laugh. Why not?
Well, you certainly do that. And I have to
make them think a little bit sometimes as well.
If I may confess, in the presence of our brother Frank here this morning, I do steal quite a lot of them and show them on the morning show here with Expats Portugal. So thank you very much. I don't know where you find them all, but they're fantastic, and you have a brilliant hit rate. And the other part of this, and why we want to talk to you, of course, is the wonderful Beyond Lisbon blog. Please find it, everybody, at beyondlisbon.wordpress.com. because Portugal is more than Lisbon. And now that is a sentiment that Frank will share with you. He is a great advocate of the Algarve, of course. Gary will be checking in from a car park somewhere because he's on a motorhome meandering at the moment. How did this begin? Were you a bit fed up with every time somebody spoke about Portugal? Certainly a few years ago. It is changing, isn't it? And I think largely in part to people like yourself who changed the focus. What motivated you in the first place?
It was just about, I think it was like around 2011, 2012, when Lisbon and Porto started having a huge tourism boom, besides the Algarve. And people were just focusing on those little bits, and that really annoyed me. and at the time, everyone had a blog, and I thought, well, why not? Let's have a blog as well. So I created the blog, and then it started from there. And then after a while, I began focusing on places, mostly on monuments and natural landscapes. But then after a while, and as I started getting to know more of the expat community in Portugal, I thought, well, why not focus on other things as well, like Portuguese culture, funny words and music, or all of that stuff, besides just places. Yeah.
You may have heard me mentioning B-Days, because I think that's been one of your most popular blogs, has it not? The Portuguese...
yeah, definitely.
I don't know how much detail we should go into on a breakfast show about the humble and misunderstood B-Day of Portugal. Completely. But it is quite an important part of Portuguese culture, isn't it? And
yeah, it's not just Portuguese culture. That's the thing. It's not just Portugal that has B-Days, And actually, I mentioned that at the start. I mentioned that.
My bad.
No. And I mentioned that actually on the text right at the beginning. I mentioned, this is a French invention, actually. So don't go.
Of course.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, le bidet. Yeah, of course. The name would suggest that it is a French invention. Yeah. How do you find this, Frank? I mean, you must presumably have bidets in the accommodation that you serve up to the public, Airbnb style.
Absolutely, kept it over there. It's well used apparently. Because if it was North America, these bidets would never be used, and there was a thought of removing the bidet, and there was a specific guest request. They were like, "Do you have a bidet in there?" I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, you really want a bidet in there, don't you? And so that's why I was like, yeah, you gotta move with where you are.
I think it's the law that you're meant to have them, possibly. I don't know that for sure. And did you hear?
What did you just make up, Carl Manson?
That's what I heard somewhere. Did you hear, Cátia? Did you hear how he said it? Frank says bidet in some kind of pretentious North American.
If you want to use the Portuguese accent, that would be bidet. Like the open air, like not bidet. Okay. That would be pretentious in Portuguese. So it's bidet if you want to go for the Portuguese accent.
Hey, come over and let's smoke.
Excuse us, Cátia. We're both works in progress as far as Portuguese is concerned. I think I think this Carl Manson is ahead of me, by the way.
To be fair, neither of us got that right, Frank. Okay, so that you can read and so we won't talk too much about that at this time of day, but we can direct people to your blog to find out more about it. It's not exactly a user manual, but it is a great insight into the culture of bidet. Is that right in Portuguese? In Portuguese, bidet use and how it's part of the culture here. What are the other popular blogs that you've written, Cátia? Because you're never going to know, are you? When you're writing them, I think writers experience this. They think, this is going to be the one. This is the one that's going to make me famous around the world. It's my passion subject. And then it's something else.
Yeah. I certainly did not expect the bidet blog post to have such success. But I mean, it essentially, it's also boils down a bit to taking creative risks. The ones I did on the video Kill the Quarantine mood. Let me just check, please.
Right.
I'm talking about my own blog.
I know
I did a series of blog posts. I did a series of blog posts during all the lockdowns and travel restrictions around that time. Called Video Kill the Quarantine Mood. And the idea was, how could I mix, travel and Portugal, but still with, in such times when people can't travel or can't travel as much. there was a
Yes.
time when we couldn't travel anywhere. There were really travel bans in place. And so I come up with this idea of, video travel in Portugal, but using, videos, clips from Portuguese songs.
Yes.
And that one was actually quite successful as well.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, thank you for your work on bringing Portuguese music to our attention as well, because I think that's really it's great to find out who the great and loved and appreciated Portuguese rock stars are, and I know you've done a lot to make that happen for people. Can you give us a few names that people can research? And I think I asked you this a long time ago, didn't I, when I was doing a Portuguese
Probably,
music?
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
in terms of music, well, I like to focus on anything that's not fado. Not that I have anything against fado, but there's so much more than just fado. Again, it's the same logic,
Same logic, isn't it? So
Beyond
there's more
fado.
Beyond. Yes, look forward to the new Beyond Fado music blog from Cátia Lima. So yeah, Beyond Fado. Then what have we got?
I have a YouTube channel, which is just basically a couple of videos and playlists divided by decades.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't? Oh, Carl, come on.
No, seriously. Okay, but I do know, or I've been reminded, and everyone else does now. More importantly, so if people want to educate themselves in Portuguese music, they can go to your YouTube channel.
It's divided by decades, so you have some oldies starting in the 30s and 40s. If you play those if you have elderly Portuguese neighbors and you play those to your neighbors, I'm sure they'll be very happy, because a lot of those older songs.
Yes.
A lot of those older songs are from old Portuguese movies, from the 30s and 40s. We had a bit of a golden age there with cinema.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, some of those jokes are still being repeated today, so that should give you an idea of how famous they've been. They still are today.
Can you send me the link to the YouTube channel?
Yeah. Sure.
And then we'll make sure everybody gets that. Talking of elderly neighbours, we've got Garvo here now as well. So
great! This one, I might as well shut the shop right now and leave. This clown is on now. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Had a few problems this morning, but we've got there.
Problems this morning. Here we are. Frank hasn't been to change over the Airbnb yet. His problems are yet to come. But Garvo, can I introduce you to the lovely Cátia Lima? What's going on? Where are you?
Hello, lovely Cátia. We have messaged before. It's great to see you on screen. Part of the program.
Likewise, yeah. I remember when it was my birthday post. I think I advised you to have a pastel de nata every day to keep up, youthful look.
And one.
It's working. He's not looking bad for 82, is he? Let's face it. Where are you, Garvo? And why is it so noisy there? What's going on?
Well, I've had to come into a cafe to get a decent internet connection, so I'm in the nostalgic cafe. Let me get this right. Paredes, Praia de Victoria.
Praia de Victoria.
Does that make any sense at all, Cátia?
Which is probably about an hour. Yes, that's the one.
Which town are you in, Garvo?
Where is he, Frank?
Right in the middle of nowhere. I'm kind of maybe an hour north of you, Cole, and probably about 40 minutes to Figueira da Foz.
Okay.
I think that's near like Óbidos, right? More or less around that area.
It's further off. If you were to go inland, probably your closest place would be somewhere like Marina Grande.
Marina Grande, yeah.
Okay, all right. And what took you there? A Wi-Fi signal?
The camper van.
Okay, but why this?
Did you get the photographs I sent you on WhatsApp? That's the picture of the beach and everything. Have a look at that.
Okay. Oh yes,
that's where we've been.
Do you know?
I hope to give you a great vista of the this morning, but obviously technicality has put pay to that.
Oh, I see. So we'll look at the pictures instead of the live view from there. Okay, we're going to get some more tips from Cátia now, because And I might mute you up in between chats, Garvo, because you're in a very noisy cafe there. Cátia, beyond Lisbon, then, Garvo's on the road. He went to Batalha yesterday. Do you know what he said about Batalha? He said the stonework inside the Batalha monastery makes the Alcobaça monastery look quite plain, which is quite a claim, Garvo. Yeah. I mean, that's quite something to say, isn't it? What are your favorite places? Obviously, we're not necessarily be talking about Lisbon, although we might ask you for your favorite place in Lisbon, despite being Beyond Lisbon vlogger. What are your favorite places around Portugal? Where would you guide people if they're on their first scouting trip, for example, here?
Start with the alphabet A.
Sorry?
Start with the alphabet. Algarve is where Frank's trying to take you, I think.
Well, the Algarve has some really lovely spots. Tavira, for example, is one of my favorite places there. And Ria de Aveiro as well.
Okay.
But then it depends on what you prefer. Do you like, more urban landscapes, natural landscapes, beach? One of my favorite places, regardless of all that, one of my favorite places in the country, without a doubt, is Gerês. It's way in the north.
Yeah.
It's our only national park. But it's a beautiful region. If I could live anywhere in the country without having to worry about, schools or supermarkets or whatever, that's where I would live.
Now, I want to ask you about this only national park thing, and we're keeping an eye on Garvo here because he's taking us on a little tour there. But I've heard of the Sintra Cascais National Park. Is it the only Is it only the only true national park because it's the only
Yes,
UNESCO?
we have other protected areas and natural parks, but national park.
Yes,
Gerês is the only one. Near the Gerês.
Okay, and that is where I've been writing about my 5th anniversary here in Portugal, and that is how we entered into Portugal through Gerês. We stayed for the first night in Gerês, and it is a wonderful place.
Yeah.
I've got my reasons why I like it. Why do you love it so much? Is it the fresh air up there?
Yeah, the fresh air, the mountains, the wild side to it. Yeah, pretty much.
And are we allowed to know where you choose to live in Portugal? Is that?
I live in Sintra.
Oh, okay.
Well, near Sintra.
Which is fabulous as well, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Sintra has I think a kind of supernatural vibe.
It does. Totally. Yes.
Why is that?
Well, several things. On the one hand, I think it's the place itself, the geography, because we're near the sea, but we have hills, and so we have a microclimate. It's always a bit, in the morning especially, and at night, it's always a bit misty and foggy, and you have lots of trees and all of that. And then in the 19th century, especially in the 19th century, there were quite a villas and chalets being built and little palaces being built in Sintra. Most of them, if not all, following the aesthetic of the time, that romantic aesthetic, with lots of little details. And then you have one name, which is Luigi Manini. He was responsible for artwork in several different places. Mainly, the most famous of them is Regaleira. You may have heard of it. And so, yes, there's this mystic aura to Sintra, yeah.
Okay, and that's a wonderful, I don't know what even to describe it as, but there's that building with what looks like a spiral going down.
It's Regaleira. It's Regaleira.
That is Regaleira. What is that? People guess what it's about, but what is it? Do you know what it really is or what its purpose is?
Well, that place belonged to several families. Okay. Before it was bought by Fundação Cultura Sintra, which is the company that's managing it right now.
Yeah.
And well, it would be a long story, but anyway, there was this guy with a lot of money who did a lot of. He created basically what Regaleira, the way it looks today, and apparently. That was an initiatic tunnel. You were supposed to go down that well, and then you have several exits.
You call it a well because it's not really a well.
Yeah, because it's known as initiatic well, but it's not a real well, of course. You have stairs. It's not a well, of course.
But it's an initiation route as you go down.
Yeah.
For what?
And then you have
What are you being initiated into?
aha.
You can't tell me. All right, enough said. All right, we'll leave that as a mystery then. We'll leave that as a mystery for now.
You have several exits there. I don't know how it is now. I think they've closed several of them to the public, but you have several exits, several possible exits. Yeah.
The plot thickens, doesn't it, Frank? I mean, you've got an initiation well, and they're shutting the doors off to the public. What is going on in there, do we think? Is it a man cave? It's a man cave.
Everything is possible in this country because there's so much history and there's so much going on. Everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. You and I both know that.
Indeed, indeed. And we must hold to that whilst women are destroying toilets on cross-channel ferries. We must hold.
Cátia, I have a question for you. In your blogs, and this is something that I've noticed in a lot of your blogs, I kind of find that you through your writing, you can connect to, like, let's say the North American or UK readers very well. I can see that the humor and everything else, because the Portuguese humor is kind of different, and you use a lot of humor in a lot of your blogs. I kind of want to know, how did you hit that sweet spot of being able to get the attention of audiences that are it's quite a universal kind of attraction to what a person is writing. It's not just meant for a foreigner as a foreigner. It's kind of bringing them into the sense of humor, which may be Portuguese.
Well said. Great question.
It wasn't something I did on purpose. It wasn't. I think it's a natural reflection of all the non-Portuguese people that I deal mostly with. And also a reflection of my own tastes, especially, well, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but in the early 2000s, we had this group of 4 guys doing a lot of humorous sketches called Gato Fedorento, and they used a lot. They glued themselves a lot to a Monty Python sort of humor, of course, with adaptations, because you can't really understand Monty Python humor unless you know and understand English language very well, and the English culture as well very well. And the same applies to their kind of humor. And to some extent, I think I also, especially in the university, because before that it was virtually impossible for me, but especially starting in the university, I started paying a lot of attention to Monty Python and the kind of humor, and I think it started from there. And then in my first jobs, I started having co-workers from the UK. I even had a boss from the UK. And now that I work as a freelancer, I have clients from the UK, mostly from the UK, not just from the UK, but mostly. And I think it's a reflection of all of that. I have friends from the UK as well. I have expat friends.
I think there is.
I didn't doubt you. You must have quite a few friends from the UK. But as a North American, it was kind of like, she understands her audience very well.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for Cátia, right? Talking about humour or whatever, right? And I've never received a satisfactory answer to this, but where do all the toilet seats go in Portugal?
What do you mean?
It's just like Garvo. Everything goes into the toilet. Oh, God.
Let me put this perspective. Let me put this perspective, right? Where we stopped in Alcabasa at that little campismo, right? The toilets had toilet seats, and not only that, they had bidets as well. Now, come on.
This is Batalha, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that place there, yeah.
Not
But I would say 90% of the places I've been to, there was no toilet seat, which for a British guy or British people is a bit strange, to be honest.
I think it's really unfair.
I have to admit, that's a bit of a mystery to myself as well. The only reason I see for that is that in some places, especially if you're talking about public toilets, I think honestly they don't really care. It's like I'm sure you must also have come across those little toilets, let's call them like that, which are basically just a hole in the wall, a hole on the ground. I'm sorry, hole on the ground. A hole on the ground. I used to come across a lot of those camping in the 80s, And as far as I know, they're also fairly common in Eastern Europe. I think that's just sort of like, it's easy to clean. It doesn't imply a lot of maintenance. You don't have to worry about people thrashing the place.
That's
I don't
true.
know,
There you go,
honestly.
Frank. A little note to self, Frank. Make just a little hole in the floor.
Yeah, Garvo, well, don't you have like a portable toilet seat that you carry around with you everywhere? You should.
I'm just thinking there's a guy somewhere with about 12,000 toilet seats in his shed who's doing a proper deal.
No, but there's
And
got to be someone that's comfortable for you, you know?
it does remind me of when I was young and I was at a nipper and like used to go to those toilets with the half a wooden seat. It wasn't quite a seat; it was like a horseshoe sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like when my dad used to have to tie a broom across my shoulder to stop me
Jesus
falling down the hole.
God.
All
Okay,
right.
so keep your eye on the Portuguese news because they may find a guy who, as Gary says, has stolen all the toilet seats of Portugal, and he's got a shed or a barn probably with 12,000 toilet
Yeah.
seats in it. And then there'll be a sale probably of these, and Frank can buy a few of them as stock for his Airbnb.
You could use them for the national gurning contest, where
Yes, we'll find a picture of that. Egremont in Yorkshire. We've got some catching up to do with folks. We were late to start. Is everybody all right for another 15 minutes or so? Is that okay?
yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Katia, was that well for you? Fantastic. Okay. I used to clean toilets on cross-channel ferries, and the female toilets were always worse. Is that misogynistic? I don't think so. I think it's a statement of fact from your own experience. So I don't think anyone need be unnecessarily triggered or offended by that.
I haven't found that to be the case, by the way. One thing that I've realized is whenever you go in Portugal, whenever you go to a cafe or whenever you want to use a washroom, if there are two ladies running the place, I always know the toilets are going to be spick and span. But if it's two dudes running the place, don't even worry about it, man. Like Gary, carry your own toilet seat, carry everything.
You're very welcome, everybody. Travel advice: always carry your own toilet seat in certain parts of Europe. Well, I think the world, basically. I believe. Look at this: humanity would evolve tremendously if we stopped trashing anyone or anything. So true, and I think you should frame that and put it as a motivational poster on the entranceway to your Airbnb as well.
For sure.
Oh, what's that? Have you got an aircraft going over there, Karen? Okay.
It's a cobble road. Somebody's just gone past. Got no brakes.
United thought they had it in the bag. A bit of Manchester football banter here, I think, from Owen, first of the morning. We will ask Katia what football team she supports. If she's got English friends, she'll have asked.
Owen, tell me you're not this boring in person.
Oh, ouch! Ooh,
No, Katia. Wow.
This is why I could never run a landlord or run an Airbnb, says T-Duck, because of the appalling behavior of the public. And it's a funny thing because we are all the public at some point, aren't we? I could be the pub landlord. Okay, so this is part of the production we're talking about as well, maybe, I wonder. I agree, says Big Boy Crypto Pants, the brilliantly named Big Boy Crypto Pants. I agree with you. I always tell people that people are dying in the world through conflict, and you're complaining about something so unimportant in the bigger scheme of things. Does that work, though, to shame people up like that? Do they say, yeah, you're right, I'm so sorry?
It's not shaming people. Well, you obviously don't say it. They're your guests. It's just that there's this perspective that I kind of feel if people were kind of reminded of this perspective somehow through a look, they would quite possibly look at it and kind of change their ways a bit when they go around.
I think it's, just the look on your face, as you said. You don't say that, but it's obvious from your
never
face.
say it.
Yeah, okay. And you can say to them now, like you're moaning about toilet paper, but I actually experienced the great crash of Good Morning Portugal one morning on the 23rd of September 2022. Where else have we gone this morning? Spreading joy, what a concept. We're doing our best this morning. More of this, please. We are absolutely doing our best. Sammy Batalha is here. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Sammy. How's it going there? And France is in from Cape Town. Oh, and we've got B-Day pronunciations coming in. I'm thinking Carl is saying B-Day, like it's some special day. Well, that's what we say in the UK. B-Day, isn't it? How do you say it in Birmingham, Gary? B-Day.
B-Day.
Okay. Bidet.
We don't have them anyway. No, that's false. We don't have them. We call it the bug.
The bug. Antonio.
Or a water fountain.
Water fountain. Okay. Or aquarium. An aquarium. You can keep fish.
It's a strange fish.
Koi carp. Hi there from Kelly. Hello, Kelly Garcia. We've not seen you here before, I don't think. Who's this? I like Linda Martini and Ornetos Violeta, my cousin. Are these people you would recommend as well, Cátia?
Depends on what you like.
I keep asking really stupid questions. I love how you respond, because I'm saying, what is the best place to go to in Portugal? It's like, well, it depends what you like. Are these good musicians? It depends what you like. I need to get out of this.
Yeah. Or not Julieta, for example. They had some really great songs. Except they're not around anymore. But as a band.
Okay.
But they were groundbreaking, especially concerning the lyrics. They're really amazing. I realize that's one of the difficulties when listening to Portuguese music. If you don't speak Portuguese, I mean, even if you speak a little bit of Portuguese, the really great songs have difficult lyrics.
Okay. Is that like a rule?
I'm guessing an unspoken rule.
You should do a blog on Beyond Fado.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah. That's an idea, yeah.
I think that would be great. I mean, a music show would be even better, wouldn't it? Where we can actually listen to the songs and then talk about the lyrics. It's a great way of learning Portuguese, isn't it? It could, if you're moved emotionally and politically by a song, I think that would help you understand the lyrics even better and want to understand the language. 3 men and a lady. I guess that's how it's looking this morning. Kelly Garcia. Check out Heróis, a famous 80s Portuguese group. Wonderful. Okay, lovely recommendations. And we have put up the link to Cátia's YouTube channel with all those music links on there. Madre Deus, another one this morning. And Nom de Plume. It's more like keeping the good things of the past alive. That sounds a bit of an old fart thing to say, doesn't it? But I guess there is an element of that. Sometimes I'm sorry about that, Nom de Plume. I think we know each other well enough for me to say that. I'm not even sure where it gets some words from. What is this? The spell checker and the translator. Oh, here we go. This is where Garvo is. Praia de Paredes in Vitoria in Alcobaça.
That's the one. That's the one.
And we have pictures from Garvo. This is your view this morning.
That's nice. The panorama. Have you got the other one? The other one over just that one, right? That's literally at the back of me now.
Oh, that's superb, isn't it? And is this the cafe where you find yourself?
No, I chose not to go there for obvious reasons.
Don't do it, Garvo. Don't go. That's a low-hanging fruit, Garvo. Don't go there.
I mean, that's telling me. That's telling me walk on by. That's walk on by. That is,
my friend.
Cátia, can we ask you? And I know you're going to say depends what you like, but. Should Gary have gone in here? And what would he? Why not, Gary? Yeah, Gary. What could Gary expect in here, though? Do we think? And why would it be called that?
It says it's a cafe and takeaway. So I'm expecting some light meals, or at least some food besides the normal cafe stuff. Yeah.
I'm expecting feijoada.
To me, Cátia, that says uncontrollable flatulence.
I know.
He went for low-hanging fruit.
He went there, didn't he? He had to do it. He had to do it. Been thinking about that since last night.
Quite frankly, I don't understand the name. I don't understand.
Well, we possibly made them famous around the world. People will be Where is this, Gary? So people can go and have their photo taken outside.
I'm actually the cafe where I am now. I'm looking at it just across the road, but it's just in the. It's only a small little town, and you've got a handful of cafes, restaurants, etc. But it's lovely. It really is. I might go there later on and try a meal, just as a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Let's go back to a few of the comments. And that would be Praia de Paredes de Vitoria in the Alcobaça.
That's where we are now. Yes.
Is it a caldo verde restaurant? Oh, dear. I can't believe it this morning. We do our best to spread joy and elevate and edify. And
Not with me on the screen. You should know better.
Not with Garvo. Okay. The Airbnb podcast. There's another treatment for this. It could be a podcast. Yes, Frank. If not a Netflix series yet, we could, begin the basic idea as a podcast. I think people would love to listen to the frustrated ramblings of an Airbnb.
Not frustrated and not a rambling.
Okay.
Just a point of view.
All right, different way of saying it then, but you know what I'm getting at. Okay, thank you, Antonio, for that. Really appreciate it. Cascais, I think national park controversy, as we might have suspected, Cátia. 10 national parks in Portugal, but only one official one, Peneda Gerês, right?
They're natural parks, not national parks.
Okay, national parks. So it's the
The name in Portuguese is Parque Nacional de Peneda Gerês. But come on, now I'm doubting myself. So
never. No,
okay,
you must do that.
now I'm doubting myself.
Okay,
but
okay.
It's the I believe it's the only national park. We have.
I read that. I've even written about that myself. I wrote that the other day. You know, there is some controversy about this, but it would make sense with its scale and the species that are up there that it is unique in Portugal.
No, Parque Nacional de Peneda Gerês. Well, now I'm doubting myself, please. So
it's an invitation for you to come back another time when we've actually got to the bottom of this, which I hope you'll do. Cascais. We can take it, I think, for granted here that Kelly is a fan of Kelly Garcia is a fan of Cascais. Oh no, it's getting worse. Look, among national and natural parks, Portugal has actually 12 or 13. It's escalated from 10 already, so we will get back to everybody on that. Yes, João F is a national treasure. I think he is as well. I would agree with that. Garvo has an initiation room down in the cave. You have to look like a builder's radio before you can enter. I don't know what that means, and I don't really want to know. Garvo, you should always carry your own seat and paper. So that's pretty good advice that's come out of this morning's show. Cátia, Portugal's a funny place where there are always people laughing around. Maybe that is at us rather than with us, but who cares? Would you care to comment on that?
No, it's with it.
I think it's both. I'm saying this. No, I'm joking, but not joking. But no,
doesn't like a joking but.
There's that thing of the stereotypical socks with sandals thing.
Like Frank wears.
That's classic. That's in North America. We say the classic Mama Luke look.
Do you sport it just for old time's sake, Frank, or not?
Never.
Never.
No.
Okay.
When you go to the beach, one thing I've learned going to the beaches in Brazil is you sometimes saw tools like this wearing like socks and those what are they called, those German slippers, and they're like walking around. I'm like, what are you doing? Someone's going to photograph you, and now you're going to become an internet meme by Cátia. And this is exactly what happens. You were at the beach. You're either not wearing anything or you're wearing slippers at best. No socks.
Yeah, no socks. Definitely no socks.
Okay, you've been told.
Yeah, Gary. When you're carrying that toilet paper, no socks. All right.
I'm going to jog it now, have I?
That is actually how you spot a Brummie in the Algarve. They've got socks and sandals, and they're carrying their own toilet seat. Spot the Brummie. Absolutely zero toilet seats in Cuba as well. So another place where what's needed here is something you buy from the Chinese shop, maybe like a fold-up toilet seat that's
an inflatable one. An inflatable one. There you go.
There you go. Are you inventing toilet seats now? Is this what's going on? This is where we've gone.
Yeah, we got a Netflix series and a new invention that we'll take to the Dragon's Den.
Actually, no, I've just thought about that. Would you really want to blow it up afterwards?
Well, this is what I'm thinking. If you're in a public toilet and you can hear somebody next to you going, you just don't want to be that guy until you're doing that in a public toilet.
Not really, no.
Okay. Wait, our toilet seats are in Portugal. All right. Free living childhood toilets with Garvo. This is the sort of content I was looking for.
That's why you pay internet for, right?
Yes. That's why we get paid the big bucks here, isn't it?
Bring Garvo in and we don't get past the toilet.
Paper. Oh dear. Okay, no, someone is ahead of us. Portable inflatable toilet seat. So the T-Duck said this at 9:57. So he probably gets the copyright patent on that. So watch out for that. Self-inflating. I should add there. United has made you bitter, Frank.
No. Not this season, Owen. Not this season, my brother.
Yes. Oh, shout out to a very Kinabiba in Korea in the Aveiro district of Portugal. Talking of disposable, I'm so sorry, Cátia. We were going to talk about cuisine. We were going to talk
Carl,
about...
yeah, can we get past the toilet seats?
But I can tell you, replying to Thunderduck, yes, they do exist, disposable paper toilet covers, yes.
Yeah, and
They
I've
do
used
exist.
that. Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning this place, Kinabiba in Korea in Aveiro. You go in there. It's the cleanest toilet in the world, probably, and it has an automatic system. You push a button, and this kind of like this sheath comes out around the toilet seat. Like
Yeah, and you can buy those in supermarkets, in big supermarkets as well. They're like folded into four, and you can just.
But this is a machine. This is a machine that fires it out.
No.
It's just amazing. It's so nice. Frank, you are not alone. Just got our man in to fix a door and sink from our honoured guest. It is just lovely. Yeah, there you go. He's feeling the pain.
They broke a door and the sink. Wow. So they were really up to a lot of good.
Yeah. It might be that same party from the Midlands, of course, on a tour of Portugal.
Yes.
In the
Why
US.
let them out?
Oh, okay. Somebody had to go there, didn't they? Making the B-Day Biden joke. The bog is posh Garvo. Comes from the Lord of the Manor, who would have a bog at the back of the estate. Garvo is a posh fella, as we know there.
Is that where he came from?
Yeah.
I feel more educated now today.
Oh, okay. Look at this, everybody. Excellent announcement for tomorrow. If any of you want to see classic old-time cars with their occupants, all dressed up according to the age of their cars, it is the Distinguished Gentleman's event tomorrow, I think, isn't it? Either tomorrow or Sunday morning. I forget now, Joao. Please do tell us, and maybe a link as well. That would be fantastic. There are many confessions going on this morning. Cátia, look at this. Is it okay? If I don't like Fado, can I come to Portugal? That's why she uses nom de plume. She doesn't even want to be known.
Well, I also have a confession to make. I mean, I'm Portuguese. I've always lived here, and I don't like sardines. And my name is not Maria, so yeah, it's fine.
Oh!
There you go.
Right, that's it. I'm switching off.
Oh my God! Could this get any worse this morning?
Should we say she doesn't like bimbo next?
Okay, maybe Particos is where all the towels went this morning. Oh dear, potty humor is always funny. No, I think, are you separating yourself in a kind of snobby way from us this morning, Frank?
No, I'm just looking at this and I'm saying no.
Okay. I like Garvo's voice and accent. So you can ask for requests. If you'd like Garvo to say something in his uniquely British and Brummie accent, kind of Peaky Blinder.
I think you need psychological help. And that's that accent should never be on a screen, really. But here we go.
Could you say nom de plume? It's hot in here in your best Brummie.
Nom de plume. It's hot in here, isn't it?
There you go. A bit of French chucked in the middle of there.
I thought that meant no feathers.
You should stick to the Algarve nom de plume. Even some Portuguese. Look at this. We're finding out so much this morning. Even some Portuguese don't like fado. The same way they don't. What? They don't like. Oh, this is just too much.
Amazing. I know. Amazing.
That's it. I'm going home. That's it.
We're going to have to set up some sort of counselling service, I think, after today's show. Some Portuguese people don't like bacalhau. I can't believe it. Fartigos, things to fill you up. Ah, okay, there you go. Farti, things to fill you up. Farticos. There are better words for snacks, though, aren't there, than farticos?
Does that mean get stuffed or something then?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Brummie accent is widely used in telesales. It is difficult to get annoyed with, just like the Welsh.
It's comic. Really? You can never fall out with a Brummie because you don't know what they're saying half the time.
All right. I think. Oh, here we go. Have a cup of tea. That's the classic. Brummie. Yeah. Frank, other teams are available. Brentford, for example, it is difficult being a Man United fan. We were going to ask you, Cátia, with so many British friends, have you been drawn towards any particular British football team?
No.
Very diplomatic. Well said. I think you probably saw that. Yeah, okay.
Maybe because I don't care about football, so.
Okay, and that's another thing. You're Portuguese and you don't care about football or sardines. Okay, okay.
Revelations, I know.
Absolutely. As it's confession time, I have one. I don't like olives or olive oil. There's an outpouring now. Can I still come? This is a feature, isn't it? I don't like X. Can I still come to Portugal? There's a definite theme here.
Olive or olive oil, definitely banned. That's the first question you get from the immigration officer. See you later. You're not coming in.
No good. I'm going to have a word.
And what about I have my own
What is
toilet
going on?
seat?
Who is this?
I have my own toilet seat. Can I still come to Portugal? Right? And here's a request. Can you say this, please?
No.
What is it? I'm struggling to see in the sunlight.
Weebles wobble.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Always remind. Maybe they were manufactured in Birmingham.
I threw one at my brother once. And he hated it. And if you ever seen what a weeble like, it's like a solid lump of concrete.
It is. The weeble didn't fall down, but your brother did, I suspect.
He did. The weeble stopped where it was. He fell down.
All right. We have had a very strange show this morning. Nonetheless, very entertaining. We've launched Frank's new series on Netflix, Confessions of an Airbnb Owner. We have found out from you, Cátia, about Gato Fedorento. These are the Portuguese Monty Pythons?
To some extent. Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Like sort of absurd, abstract.
Yeah, and also, to understand a lot of their jokes, you have to know, you need to have a really good knowledge of the Portuguese language and culture to understand some of the jokes. Otherwise, you're just like, what?
There you go, Cátia. Now Gary is going to be looking online for smelly cats.
Is that what it means?
Yeah, smelly cat.
That's what it means.
Smelly cat.
Did they take that from Friends?
I don't know.
Smelly cats.
There was
Who are you looking for?
Yes, Frank knows it well. He could give us a rendition of that. And of course, Garvo has been in the delightful Portuguese seaside town of.
I can't remember the name of it now.
But you wanted
Paredes de Praia Vitoria. I think that's what it's called. Something like that.
Yeah.
Carl, can I just say something in the last few seconds?
Yes.
I know I've been a bit Garvo, but shall I tell you what I love about Portugal? And even more now, it comes more apparent, is that I sat outside the caravan this morning in the forest and did my foresty thing like I normally do. Yeah. And it was one of those slightly grey you never know what's going to happen sort of days. And I thought, this is Portugal, isn't it? Because you never really know what's going to happen. You never really know what you're going to encounter and what the day is going to bring. And as a reflection of that, I've come down here, right? The clouds are parted, the sun has come ripping open, and by midday you're going to be begging for cover. So I love it. I love it because it's so different. You never really know what you're going to get. Well
said, mate. Well said. For anyone making their way
Garvo, you don't have to try so hard. You can stay.
Okay, thank you, Frank.
We'll come to all of you
later.
A final word today. I think that's Garvo's words of wisdom. Have you got any to share for us, apart from be very careful starting an Airbnb in Portugal, Frank?
No, just be very patient, and when you understand that you are going to be dealing with all kinds of people from different backgrounds, and you just have to be on your best behavior. Just show the face. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Just show the face. Thank you, Frank, for turning up today. Really appreciate it. Cátia, how about you? Have you got something along the lines of a Portuguese cultural insight that we can send everybody into the weekend with? Or anything you like from your popular blogs?
Well, no, I was just thinking now concerning the last words that Garvo was, Garvo was talking about this morning, and I was just thinking that's one of the beauties of life in Portugal, and it's something that I noticed is that I read a lot about a lot of expats that they have like this first phase where they want to get everything done, but they also want to relax and go with the flow and just surf the waves. You have to surf the waves, not go against the waves.
Well said. Thank you very much for that, all of you. Let's do a few dad jokes then. You have been warned. My poor knowledge of Greek mythology has always been my Achilles elbow. Come on, that's good. Maybe if we start telling people their brain is an app, they'll want to use it. Ooh, Frank, you can use that, can't you, with your customers? And despite the high cost of living, it remains popular. That's nice, isn't it? Very good. And finally, then, I think there's some extra Friday jokes here. My bank called asking if my credit card had been stolen. They were concerned because it hadn't been used at the liquor store since Friday. Very good. You've all been fantastic. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now. Bon fils. Superb show. Ciao, ciao. Thank you.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.